the 436th victim. Her name was Primka Devi. Primka Devi, a 16-year-old girl from Fangar village in India, had gone to the forest to collect firewood. But she didn't realize she was being watched by a man-hunting beast. Probably the last thing she saw was the Champawat Tiger attacking her. Primka Devi was never heard from again. The only trace she left behind was the drops of blood on the leaves. Champawat Tiger. She was the most savage manhunter in the history of the world. She has claimed the lives of 436 people with her attacks, and thus, she entered the Guinness Book of Records as the animal that caused the most human deaths in history. Here is the story of the Champawat Tiger that ate 436 people. Bengal Tigers. Perhaps the strongest of the big felines. With an average of 4-inch molars, they have the longest teeth of any living big cat. These magnificent wild creatures live in the heart of Asia among dense forests, rivers, and grasslands. An adult Bengal tiger can reach up to 8 feet in length and weigh up to 550 pounds. At the top of the food chain, this apex predator's main food source can be wild boars, deer, and cattle, but it can also feed on much smaller creatures such as fish, rabbits, and monkeys. It is so unrivaled in the wild that it has often been seen hunting other carnivores such as crocodiles, wolves, jackals, foxes, or leopards. In other words, this ferocious predator can eat everything in sight. In 1903, a Bengal tiger decided to include humans among its prey. However, it should be noted that the tiger also had her reasons. Today, around 3,000 Bengal tigers live in the wild in India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. In the early 1900s, there were more than 100,000. In other words, mankind had not yet been completely victorious in its war with nature. Local people in India and Nepal believed that eating the genitals of male tigers would increase sexual potency. Because of this strange belief, tigers were often hunted and sold by local hunters. Moreover, in those years, tiger hunting became popular as a sport among Europeans. In particular, the hunting parties of wealthy British men in the British Empire, which had taken control of the Indian region, had become quite fashionable. Even British King George V organized a hunting party in Nepal, killing 39 Bengal tigers, 18 rhinos, 4 bears, and 1 leopard in this 10-day hunting party. These photographs taken in 1911 reveal the massacre at the hunting party of British King. Of course, not every tiger shot in these hunting parties died. There were also wounded survivors among them. Champawat Tiger, our main character of this story, was one of them. The first attack took place in 1903. In Rupal village, located west of the Himalayas in Nepal, a villager was lured deep into a forest by a tiger. Then the tiger attacks continued to increase in the region. So many people were killed by tigers in a short time that it was believed these attacks were carried out by more than one tiger. However, after eyewitnesses' testimonies, it was realized that the culprit was only one tiger who got used to hunting humans. After dozens of people died, the Nepalese government put a bounty on the tiger's head, and many professional hunters went after the animal, but none were successful. The tiger had killed around 200 people in Nepal within a few years. As a last resort, the Nepalese government called the army. Tens of thousands of soldiers participated to hunt. But although they couldn't shoot the tiger, they drove it away from the Nepalese territory and pushed it into Indian territory. The tiger settled down into the Kumaon region of India and continued its attacks around Champawat. Hence its name became Champawat Tiger. The Champawat Tiger carried out almost all her attacks in daylight. She hunted people in the morning, traveled great distances at night, and the next morning, there were reports that she had been seen in very remote villages or attacked by another human being. For this reason, she was always one step ahead of the hunters, and capture attempts in India failed. Champawat Tiger ended the lives of more than 200 people in India in a short time after Nepal. Local people living in the forested areas were unable to leave their homes to do their work out of fear, and social life in the region came to a complete halt. A high-ranking British officer in India asked his close friend, naturalist Jim Corbett, to help him kill the tiger. Jim Corbett was an Englishman born in India. In fact, he was not a professional hunter and had never killed a single tiger in his life. But the fact that he was a tracker and a naturalist and had a deep knowledge of the wildlife in India, where he was born and raised, made him accept this mission. But Jim Corbett had two conditions. Firstly, he said that he would not accept to kill any animal for money and asked for the reward on her tiger's head to be removed. The second condition was that all other hunting parties to hunt the tiger would be stopped. So his demands were fulfilled, and Jim Corbett went after the Champawat tiger. After months of chasing, news came that the tiger had attacked a 16-year-old girl, Prinka Devi, in Flonger village. Corbett immediately traveled to the area and followed the trail of blood on the leaves. The tiger had dragged the body of the young girl to her territory, where she had come to rest. When the Champawat tiger saw Corbett, she attacked this uninvited guest without much thought. Jim Corbett fired 2 shots at the attacking tiger. Although these shots missed the tiger, they were enough to scare her away. The British naturalist thought that the tiger would not leave the area for a few days, as she would digest the young girl she hunted. For this reason, he traveled to the same area the next day with a team of 300 people, including officials and villagers. When they arrived in the area, he told the 300 people with him to make as much noise as possible. The shouting of 300 people managed to bring the tiger out of her hiding place, and Jim Corbett shot the tiger right in the chest with a clear shot. Jim Corbett's second shot at the wounded escaped animal missed. The third shot hit the tiger in the shoulder and knocked her to the ground. Thus, the Champawat tiger, which hunted 436 people, breathed her last breath. When the tiger's body was analyzed, it was found to be a female Bengal tiger, aged 10 to 12 years. But the most interesting thing was that the tiger had been shot in the jaw with a gun long ago. The Champawat tiger had probably been shot in the lower jaw with a rifle at a hunting party many years ago, and as can be seen, her lower right molar was completely broken. This had weakened the tiger and her jaw structure considerably, and prevented her from hunting her natural prey, leading her to turn to humans as an easier prey. So man had created his own monster with his own hands. The Devil of Champawat. That's what the locals nicknamed her. So do you really think it was a wounded tiger trying to survive that was the devil? Or was it the people who shot her for fun?